used to it. It's like
Well, I pretty much always drive without.
you don't have one. You don't have a backup.
Only my newer car has it, but my old STI doesn't.
I think almost all new cars
All
have
new
them
cars
now.
have
It's like
It's a great safety feature.
yeah, no, it's good. No, it's definitely easier.
So David, I'm gonna actually have, I've been given permission in my backyard to have vegetables.
Ooh,
So I'm gonna do some zucchini and something else.
very easy.
Tomatoes, my wife wants to keep by the garage in pots, because she likes them there. I'm gonna talk to you and see what you think for some zucchini with. She wants me to make a raised bed, I'm like, figure out how to build one of those.
That'll be the first step.
I start clearing the area.
Okay.
2 weeks.
I'll be happy.
Page 14 or 46, 3 lines from the bottom. He gale na uvros chaviv alai et sugat shalomach he gale na uvros chaviv alai et sugat shalomach he gale na uvros chaviv alai et sugat shalomach 15 or 48 L'chon ranen al Adonai Nari al zui shenu Nikadem afana vedoda Bizmiro nari alo Gil gadol Adonai mel gadol Arba'im shana akod bedor Valmar amdoye levavem Vehem lo yadu nerachai Asher nishbati be'avi Im yavon el menuchati Shirul Adonai Shir Chadash Shirul Adonai Gol HaOretz Shirul Adonai Baruch Shemo Basru meyom leyom Yeshuato Sabru v'goyim kevodo B'chol ha'amim nifleotav Ki gadol Adonai Omol al meod Norahu Ohal kol Elohim Hay 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 kol Elohim Ha'amim elilim Va'adonai Havul Adonai Kavod Va'oz Havul Adonai Kevod Shema Seu Mincha Uvahol Lechatzrotav Ay 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 Shtachavul Adonai Meharakol Echilu Mipana Kol Haaretz Imru Bagoyim Adonai Malach Avtikon Tevel Ba'aladimot Yadin Amim B'mei Sharim Yismechu Hashamai V'tagel Haaretz Yiram Hayam Hum Lo Yalo Sadai V'chol Asher Bo Ay 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 Az Yiranenu Kol Atzeyar Lifnei Adonai Kiva Nishmot Haaretz Yishmot Tevel V'tzedek Ve'amim Ve'emunato Ay 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 Page 17 or 51. Shama Batisma Chetzion Vatagelna B'nor Yehuda Leman Mishpatecha Adonai Ki Ata Adonai Elyon Al Kol Haaretz Me'od Na'alei Al Kol Elohim Ohavei Adonai Sinura Shomer Nafshor Chasidah Me'ar Rishayim Yazilehem Or Zaru Ala Tzadik Ol Yisrael Simcha Simcha Tzadikim Adonai Behodu Lezecher Kodsho Mizmor Shir Adonai Shir Chadash. Page 18 or 52. Lifnei Adonai Kibal Nishbot Ared Nishbot Tevel B'tzedek V'yamim B'mei Sharim Adonai Malach Yergezu Amin Yoshev Kruvim Tenod Ared Moshe v'Aaron v'Kohanav u'Shmuel v'Gorei Shemo Gorim el Adonai v'Hoyanim b'Amud Anan yedaber aleihem Shameru eidotav v'chog natan lamo Adonai Elohim תניתם אל נושא העיד אלוהם ונוקם על עלילותם רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו 20 or 54 מזמור לדוד הבו לאדוני ולהילים הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז כבוד לאדוני ומו ישתחוו לאדוני הדרת קודש כל אדוני על המים אל הכבוד ירים אדוני על מים רבים כל אדוני בכוח כל אדוני והדר כל אדוני שובר ארזים וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון וירקידם כמו רגב לבנון בסיריון כמו בין הרעמים כל אדוני חוצב לבות אש כל אדוני יחיל מדבר יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש כל אדוני חולל הילדות ויחשוף יערות וכלו כולו אומר כבוד אדוני למה מול ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך עמו בשלום You may be seated. Anna bekoach gedulat yemincha tatir zerura kabel rinat amecha sagavenu taharenu nora Hanna bekoach gedulat yemincha tatir zerura tatir zerura kabel rinat amecha sagavenu taharenu nora Page 21 and 56. Lechadod ligrad kala bene Shabbat nekabela שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי לקראת גלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת גלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת גלה, פני שבת נקבלה. הולך דודי לקראת גלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, כל מצי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבת בהמק הבכה. והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה, לך דודי לקראת גלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת גלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי דברתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בעת הלחמי. קרבה אל נפשי גאלה, לך דודי לקראת גלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת גלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בהורך גומי אורי, 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 אשר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת גלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת גלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשכחי ומה תמי, בך יחסו עני ימי, ונבנתה עיר אל תילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת גלה, לקראת גלה, בני שבת שוסייך ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס קטן על כלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת גלה, לקראת גלה, בני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תברוצי, ביד אדוני תעריצי, 59, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. Magadlu Masechaya Mehorameku Machshavodechaya Magadlu Masechaya Oh, you know, Messiah, the Shani Meronimio, Lagin, Giashar Adonai, Suri Vila Vlatabo, Adonai Malach, Geud Lavesh, 2461. Hey, do techanim numeon lebein chana v'kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. This week we observe the Yartzeiten of Janice Rossman, wife of Robert Rossman, Henry Levy, father of Mary Goldener, Alec Rossman, father of Robert Rossman, Benjamin Yelsey, father of Neil Yelsey, Charlotte Zipser, mother of Eleanor Einzig, Lillian Knie, grandmother of Danielle Gretz, and also Susie Weissman and Morris Weissman, who are memorialized on our board. May their memories and the memories of those whom we recall be blessings. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 62 or 24. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. Amen. Be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayichon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shmeid kucha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom bimromav, uya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Good Shabbos, everyone. It's nice to see a few people we haven't seen here in this building in a while. Welcome back wherever you came from. And it's also nice to see everyone who we see all the time. Those of you who know me pretty well by this point, which is pretty much everyone in the room, have probably realized that I am not the newsiest darshan. Like, I'm not... my drashot, I hope that they're relevant and I try to make them relevant, but they are not often ripped from the headlines. But this week I did want to talk about something that is straight from the headlines. Part of the reason why I did was because a lot of the headlines about Jews, if you really follow the Jewish news closely lately, a lot of it is a downer. There's no doubt about that. But there was a lovely story in the New York Times this week about the Pan-Brooklyn Eruv. I don't know if anyone else read it. So now all of Brooklyn is surrounded by a single Eruv, which is a symbolic enclosure which allows observant Jews to carry on Shabbat. And there were many different Eruvim in Brooklyn, but they were sort of overlapping and they were oddly shaped. And now, as of this week, there's an Eruv that encompasses all of Brooklyn, which is a big deal because a sizable portion of the world's Jews live in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is I don't know how many Jews live in Brooklyn, but it's 600,000. It's probably or 3 million. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. A sizable percentage of the world's Jews live in Brooklyn, and now all of them the ones who observe it and know about Eruv and the ones who don't are surrounded by an Eruv. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Eruv. The purpose of an Eruv, as most of you probably are aware or have heard, is that traditionally Jews don't carry on Shabbat. Specifically, they don't carry from different rishuyot, different domains, as the rabbis understood them. And there are three basic domains that the rabbis talk about. One is the Reshut HaRabim. That's a private domain, and you can carry in a private domain. You can carry things around your house or out in your garden, if that's part of your private domain. There's the public domain, Reshut HaRabim. And then there's a third ambiguous domain, which is called either a Makom Pator or a Carmelite, which originally refers to like unowned land, the field outside the town. And on a biblical level, the rabbis understand that you can't carry from private domain into the public domain, and vice versa. Okay. But it's been historically a problem for Jews because it's nice to carry things on Shabbat. That you got to carry your children, you got to carry food, and so the rabbis come up with they solve a problem which they created because they decided you couldn't carry from Reshut HaRabim, and then they decided that there was a workaround. And the way they do it is by creating an Eruv. And so I want to share a little bit about what an Eruv is, and then I want to share a little bit about why I actually was very moved by the fact that Brooklyn is now surrounded by an Eruv. And that's this. So Eruv actually means mixing. Eruv doesn't mean an enclosure. It means mixing. And the way this traditionally worked was an Eruv had to be very enclosed. And the way people lived in Roman cities was there would be a main street, and off the street there would be courtyards, and off the courtyards there would be houses, private residences. But everyone who lived off that courtyard would share sort of the central space. And you could imagine it might be nice to carry, you have a meal with your friend across the way. It might be nice to bring something for dinner, right? So you got to carry across the courtyard. So the solution for this, says the rabbis, is you basically take a shared food. Today it's conventionally a piece of matzah because it doesn't go bad, and you sort of everyone in the little courtyard owns the food. They all have a share of the food. And then it's stored in one person's house. And so because sort of everyone has a share of it, they're sort of intermingling their private spaces. And so the whole little space, which was public, now becomes private. Okay? That's what an Eruv is. And that's still how an Eruv functions, more or less. So what's the issue? Well, the issue is, the rabbis decide, that you actually can't make an Eruv around a Reshut HaRabim. Around a true public thoroughfare, not a courtyard that, if you imagine, like maybe over at the Hamlet, maybe you could make a little Eruv around the Hamlet. That's a good example maybe of a place that, you're all sort of sharing the space, but you can't make an Eruv around Broadway. It's Reshut HaRabim. You can't. Except, of course, we know you can. So how does this work? Eruvin, Hilchot Eruvin, which are complex, are one of those areas that just developed in halakha very, very, very liberally. Not everything in halakha goes more and more stringent. Some things go in more and more liberal directions. And so they say, we need to carry, and we don't live in little Roman courtyards anymore. We live in towns. So how are we going to deal with that? Well, the rabbis say maybe towns aren't really a Reshut HaRabim. Maybe they're not really a public space. Because why? Well, there were 600,000 Israelites leaving Egypt, and maybe a Reshut HaRabim has to be a city where there's 600,000 people. That works for about 500 years. And then suddenly there are cities with 600,000 people. Say, maybe it means that they have to be a public thoroughfare has to be a place where 600,000 people pass in one day. And that works for another couple hundred years, although more than 600,000 people pass through Times Square every day. So they said, maybe it has to be a thing where 600,000 people are passing through at one time. So basically, the upshot of all of this, and this is how it is possible to create an Eruv around all of Brooklyn, is that the rabbis define away Reshut HaRabim. They define away public space. So they say there's actually no space that's public space. There's only your home, and there's the part of the world that's not yet your home but might be. And basically what they're doing, what the halakha does is actually encircle, pun intended, I suppose, but encircle the world in increasingly wider circles of intimacy and fellowship. And I think this is a very, very beautiful thing. And I'll share just one little detail, which if you read the article, you know, which is that part of creating a modern Eruv in a city is renting from the city the land, okay, in a legal contract. And so, just this past week, the emissaries of the Brooklyn Eruv Committee, which are the emissaries of all Jews in Brooklyn, had a meeting with Mayor Eric Adams, where legally there's a real contract. For $1, the Jews of Brooklyn, all however many million of them, rented all of Brooklyn for 99 years for the purpose of making an Eruv. And the reason why I find this so moving is because, you know, government is real, like, and laws are real. And, you know, the mayor has real authority, and contracts are enforced, right? We live in, but there is still room for this contract that's not a contract, and this relationship with the place where we live, which is not formal and rigid, but which is kind and friendly and amusing and warm. And like I said, like, there's a lot of headlines that I could have talked about this week which would have been less charming. But I want to talk about that one, and I think that it really is true that we can create ever wider circles of intimacy, and I think this insight is inscribed in the halakha in a really, really interesting way. Yeah, it's 6,000 a lot. We'll continue with Mariv on page 28 or 64. Does anyone want to lead Mariv?
Please rise on 28 or 64. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai le'olam ha'asher. Hoshak mikneor. Umavir yom umevi laila. Umavdil ben yom umevi laila. Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Hama'ariv Araviv Al Hatolam Beit Yisrael Al Torah Mitzvot Chukim U'Mishpatim Matan Olim Al Keinu Eloheinu V'Yishpatim Ki Chaim Chayin V'Yorach Yameinu V'Yavacha Al Tasim Mimenu Le'olamim Baruch Ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha V'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Alevavecha V'shiantam Levanecha V'divarta Bam V'shiftecha V'veitecha U'leftecha Havaderech U'shoftecha Avkumecha U'kshartam Leot Ayadecha והיו לתותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. נתתי ושמתם את דבריהם ונתתם אותם וכתבתם בביתכם השמיים ויאמר השם ונבין ציצי ואיתם זוני מהפרקים המנטיסקים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים מגלות לכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת וכל זאת וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו זאת אנחנו ישראל עמו הפוטר מהמלכים מלכנו חסם נפשנו עושה לנו ניסים ישראל ים סוף ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך ואלים אדוני מי כמוך נדע בקודש נוראתי לא תוספת מלכותך ראו בניך בוקיים לפני משה זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ונאמר כי פדה אדוני יעקב וגורלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל השכיבנו תגנן בעצת וחסר אותנו כי אל שומרנו ושמור צאתנו ובנו לחיים ושלום יתה ועוד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש יתקדש ויקדש שמי רבה יאמר דברי קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי בכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קר ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבו מבורך לעולם לעולמי עמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירם בימה ויאמרו amen. Yamid as in 35b or 76. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, amen. 47 or 89. Vaychulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tzevam vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi'i v'lahakto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melakto asher asa vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i V'yakadesh oto ki hivo shavat mikol melakto asher bara Elohim la'asot Baruch atah Adonai Elohim Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanara El Elyon Konei Shemayim v'Aretz Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechaye Meitim B'Mamaro Ha'el HaKadosh Shem Kamohu Hameniach Le'amo B'Yom Shabbat Kodsho Ki Vam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Ki Vam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Lefanav Navo Bira V'Fachad V'Nodeh Lishmo B'Chol Yom Tamid Me'ona B'Rachot El HaHodahot Adon HaShalom Mekadesh HaShabbat Umverech Shvi'i Umeniach B'Kedusha V'Amedu Shnei Onei Zecher L'Maaseh B'Reshit Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Ritzei v'Mnuchatenu Kachenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkeinu b'toratecha Sahabenu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'taher libeinu Le'ovdecha b'emet v'hanchileinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Aba uvratzon Shabbat Koshecha v'yanuchu v'Yisrael Mikadeshei Shemecha Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat Yigadav Shemei Rabbah Ve'amadi Rakirutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon V'yamachon V'chayei T'chol Beit Yisrael B'galav V'zman Karev V'yimeru Yeshmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Le'omei Amaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Yishamach Yitbarach Yiromam V'naseh V'yidav 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 Shemei L'Kudusha Le'la Min Kol B'chatav V'shiratav Tushbachatav V'nachmatav Amiram B'yamav V'yimeru T'ikav Alson Avotchon T'chol Yisrael Kodam Avlohon Div Yishmei V'yimeru Yishtam Rabba Min Shemai V'chaim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'yimeru Ose Shalom B'Mromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimeru Amen. Yush. It's found on 49 or 93. Baruch Savanu, the Shabbat Kocho Be'avavrotzon Kilanu, Zikaron Ma'aseh Reshit, Yom Tefillah Mikrae Kodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu V'charta, V'yotanu Kidashta, Mikol Ha'amim, V'shavat Kodshecha, B'yava U'b'ratzon, B'chaltanu, Baruch Ata Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Shelo asanu haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Kadisha tone can be found on 52 or 101, the Mourner's Cottage. Yit Gadah, Yit Gadah, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma, Divra, Yurukei, Bi'amlich, Malchutei, B'chayechon, Uvyomechon, B'chayei, B'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, U'izman, Kari, B'yemru.
Amen. Yehi Shnei Rabbah Korach, Pelham, Pelham.
Yit Barak, Yit Shabbat, Yit Fa'ar, Yit Romam, Yit Naseh, Yit Hadar, Yit Aleh, Yit Halal, Shemei D'Kudusha, Leila, Minkol, Yirchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Da'amiran, B'yama, B'yemru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shammai, V'chaim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, B'yemru.
Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'Romav, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, B'yemru.
Amen.
Some brief announcements. This week's Kiddush is going to be sponsored by Spencer Barback on ice, and we're looking for people to sponsor Kiddushes going into the future. Contact Andrew for that. Adult Led continues. Women's group is going to be February 25th after Kiddush. Book group is February 27th, reading a book called Out of Egypt by Andre Asiman. The Purim Carnival is March 5th from 10 a.m. to noon. And Purim itself is Monday
night.
March 8th.
Monday
9th?
night. The Megillah's Monday night, yeah.
Monday night. So we are planning for some fun activities, so we hope everybody can join us then in their costumes, ideally. Soup Kitchen continues, not for another month. Wednesday, March 15th, here at the Pelham Jewish Center will be the final meeting of the Boundaries and Belongings of Shalom Hartman Institute. And a new activity leading up to Yom Hatzot for the PJC, there will be an Israel speaker series that is going to begin on Thursday, March 23rd. And then there will be 7 different presentations by experts about different aspects of life in Israel. That's very exciting. And then there will be a Yom Hatzot story slam and party on April 25th. So check the bulletin board and the announcements for specific times and dates. There are different days of the week and at different times, and it's really exciting. I want to thank the rabbi for working with colleagues and people here Okay, I think that covers everything in the announcements. And we'll conclude with Yigdal on page 114. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nimsa v'hinei el metziuto echad en yachid yehudo le'lam v'gam in sof le'achduto eino dmut haguf ve'eino guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon b'chol davar asher nivra rishon ben Reshit le'Reshito hino adon olam b'chol notzar yorei gdulato malchuto shefanuato nitano elam she'sulato v'tifarto lo kam b'Yisrael k'Moshe od navi u'malabim et emunato Torah et Natan Yahweh al yad neviyo elan beito lo yachalifa el v'lo yamir dato leolamim lezulato shofet yodea sitareinu mabit b'sof davar yekadmato kol melish chesed k'mivalo noten l'rasha gerishato yishlach l'ketz yamim v'shicheinu nifdot l'chakekei tishuato meitin Yechayel v'rochasto baruch adei ad shem tilato meitin Yechayel v'rochasto baruch adei ad shem tilato.
Good job, Sam.
Bless you, Mom.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just a little bit, so. Yeah, first was, yeah, first trying to take the same, and then one day, we'll get that for sure. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Chris has an order for that.
We went to the new one, right?
So it's less,
Well, I think it was, there's no grandparents or
So you know better than your parents.
I don't want to even actually say it, but I was there. I know it because, not because of that. I'm going around. Yeah, but I don't know. I've had friends who live there. I've had some friends there.
Okay, so we went to,
Just the
we
driver's
went to
license.
this vegetarian, place where you can rest and build orders. It's,
You know what? I've heard it because, so my best friend from middle school, I'm now a rabbi, now works in conservative children.
I'm sure. Yeah, so it was, I don't know if it's on.
Oh, no!
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure so yes, that's the furthest we've.
It's nice. I like your name.
I like the neighborhood.
Thank you. It was a gift from Bob and Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah, no shot.
Nice to see my good shots of Bob. That's
No, it's being responsible for another human life. I still feel like this human life out there.
I mean, it's the one thing, it's exactly like everything. It's the one thing that's like exactly like everything.
Right, it changes everything.
It's exactly. Yeah, you're right. Normal. I know.
let's go next, as they say.
You live in Washington, right?
Yes, so.
Are you going for trying Jewish?
Not yet, legally. We're thinking about it. I was part of that community when I was there, and then when Ajahn was in our very early days of learning about Judaism, it was, it's not the most training wheels
No,
friendly
it's not.
congregation. So she got an early bad taste for it, and now Brooke like that now. She's Jewish. She's got her own ideas of what she likes in the shul. We don't always agree, but we try to find.
I mean, first time. It's intense. That's an intensive place.
Yeah.
It's like I like Guy a lot.
Oh, Guy's lovely. He's not the intense part.
But like, yeah, it's an intense vibe. Yeah, it's like.
It's very learned. I mean,
It's what it is. It's like, yeah.
it can feel hard to keep up sometimes. But anyways, but it's good. So we're gonna hunt around. We like
Yes.
We do love living in the house. Within the first week we came back, we went to eat at the Salvadorian place there, and I wanted to say, what were we doing in Philadelphia? She was like, I walked 2 minutes from my house. I'm eating delicious food from El Salvador, and I'm hearing Spanish spoken. You know, like I never.
Listen, we're away from New York. Where I'm from. We had this periodic.
Yeah.
Flying off New York, and it's like, now that we're back, and it's like, it's like, it's like, it's just like so good.
It's where I have a real sense. We gave a lot of excuses to our friends when we were living in Philly. Everything from like we don't like Philly as much as you do to our families are there or there's a direct flight to Mexico over there. There's direct flights from Philly to Cancun, and never just for vacationers, but there's no direct flight to Mexico City. But anyways, yes, so we had all our reasons, but also like this is where I feel at home. This is my home. Can't really beat being home. Yeah, is that wonderful? And did you also grow up in New York?
No, but like my whole adult life is like,
Yeah.
after college.
Yeah.
It's like our whole life, my whole like real life.
It is here, yeah.
And then, when we were away, it was like, honestly, we like see movies that have New York, and we both have this.
Oh my God, yeah. Watching a New York movie while in exile.
It's hard.
It's a real thing. Yeah. We'd watch How I Met Sally and we'd be like, oh, it looks so gorgeous.
I know.
I want to be in the park in fall.
I know.
I always say, the joke about that movie for me is that it's really about a love story about Cameron and New York, right?
It is.
It's like a love story between these two people. Like okay chemistry, but
So the movie that I remember most acutely, I think it was like during the pandemic, we lived in Chicago. It was kind of like, but the movie, it's as far as Pixar goes, I think it's like mid-level. The movie's Soul.
yeah.
But it's a beautiful, it's good. I mean, I didn't really something, but the depiction of New York is just like luminous, and I was like, watching this, oh gosh, I gotta, and I really got, so, welcome back. Yeah.
I'll say about Soul, my favorite joke about Soul that someone made was like, what happened to Pixar? 10 years ago, they were like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if toys could talk? Now they're like, what is the meaning of life?
Right. Although they were always kind of into what is the meaning.
Yes, that is true. Many of
Some of
those
the movies are pretty deep. I mean,
yeah, they have a philosophy behind them.
and some of them are like the first 10 minutes of Up is like hard to watch. It's like devastating. Like I guess like and I guess like kids mostly probably goes over their heads, but like for adults, I feel like it should come with like a trigger warning. I feel like it's like a trigger warning.
Yeah, it's like your mortality
Really
will be
intense.
confronted here.
Yeah, and it's like for people with infertility. I mean,
Oh my God, yeah.
it's like a whole thing. It's like really intense.
All right.
Good seeing you.
Good to see you too.
Just hang out.
I don't know. Do you know Donald? He's a very nice guy. He's at UPenn he's actually Harvard, and he does like technology and Judaism in a variety of different ways. And his PhD on like time-skipping clocks, how they change, bit of time. Very interesting stuff. And he's always got very interesting observations and stuff like that too. But he recently on Facebook, he's been reading that. There's a book, but I don't recent book, but
On average, it's fine.
I was like, is everybody reading the same book? Because I've been hearing a lot about it. But anyways, he said the first piece of permanent Eruv infrastructure in North America. Do you want to guess where it was?
First piece of permanent Eruv infrastructure.
Or like dedicated. I'm not sure if it's permanent, but definitely dedicated Eruv infrastructure.
They built a little thing.
Like they build something like not using natural boundaries or telegraph wires. They built specifically this for the Eruv wire.
I don't know, Boston.
It's in Toronto.
Toronto.
Bloor Street in Toronto. So David Zvi is Canadian. I think he's from Toronto. And he posted this, and I was like, as a New Yorker, I'm infuriated.
Yeah.
And he said only a New Yorker would be infuriated.
I'm surprised. I would not have guessed Toronto.
No, I always guess New York. Call that national.
I might have guessed like New England because it's like I feel like there were a few Jews and maybe I guess those guys probably the people who were like coming over.
I mean, yeah, it's so shocking. I mean, the fact is it was infrastructure on telegraph wire, so I don't know what year that is.
Oh yeah, that's pretty late.
It's post
That's very late.
telegraph.
Yeah, that's late. That's
So there were communities here for years that just didn't do it.
You know, I was pretty cool. I was gonna mention when I forgot to mention, but I was thinking about like Surah Petach and then like that thing, like right. So like you can't put it Surah Petach around a Rishon Rabin, but you can do it around like a Carmelite or whatever. And but it's Surah Petach is dafka a door, right? It's dafka like you're enclosing something by creating an entrance to it, which is kind of an interesting idea, right? It's like come on in, but it's like Hilchot Eruv is like it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a happier story. Well, it's a story of, yes, it's
It's a story ultimately of how we
Unfortunately, from my perspective, Jewish law is kind of like, he said,
yeah.
this is actually allowing, in theory, a little more
the
ability.
more the merrier.
Yeah.
The more of us can spend time together, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a little more.
The thing about Hilchot Eruv though is oftentimes a little bit like hard to, Broadway is not a Rishon Rabin. According to right? So which is like, yeah, it is. Right? So it's a time like
If you were
like
gonna say the words to me, space of the many.
oh yeah, it's like that's Times Square.
Yeah.
It's not like the whole way it does like requires you to be like it's not.
Well, the wicked, there is a wicked son, there's no such thing.
Right.
But it's impossible. It's so very funny because I remember being in yeshiva and you would start learning and you would always be like, okay, and you would just make up examples for each shoe.
Yeah.
And so and it was always like Rishon Rabin. Okay, so Times Square.
Right.
Times Square, Rishon Rabin. And then the fact is, like, spoiler alert, I'm really sorry, Times Square is not Rishon Rabin. Well, there may not be such a thing.
Well, it just goes to show you how crucial care. You had a care.
There's
Alright, we're getting
I love you, I love
Great seeing you. See you soon now. You should be close.
Now that he's close.
Now that you're close.
Are you like running for president of North Korea or something?
This is a gift from Sandra and Bob. They brought back from I ate my Bob Roman on Cold Dre. I said, Bob, you look great. He did. He looked like sort of black. He looked like a Bond villain or something. And I was like, Bob, that's really cool. And they're like, we'll bring you one. And then they called me, they were there. And they were like, I didn't think they were serious, but it's really nice. Bob, he does wear one. Kim Jong, no. Bob does wear one sometimes, but yeah, he does.
Okay, yeah. Otherwise,
All right, so guys, are we ready to go? We're doing all those children.
St. Pete definitely.
The old very same people like.
My dad's
Oh yeah.
No,
No, not
I'm
anymore.
moving to Tampa and St. Pete. So downtown St. Pete, like near the US area. A second where we do Tampa, there's like, very near, it's the USF
We're very
Health
good
Campus.
because
And
when the
University of Tampa's there. It's sort of like near, near where the lightning rods
so
are.
so close to them.
Exactly,
Her
yeah.
parents went
because,
to.
I think there's quite a bit of young people who live there. She wants to live in the beach, and she got a.
But you know,
Upside down
no,
here.
I find the lack of,
To the beach.
I,
So she's,
at family events, I find the lack of
Figure
concern
out
for
everything, all
family.
these angles.
yeah, so we'll see. The biggest thing is Jessica's job.
I feel it, I feel it, I feel it,
Once we
I
get
feel
that,
it. Now it's like,
finding a partner for that. Every country has a lot.
To get her up with the Ron DeSantis president again.
yeah, yeah, without.
Yeah, no, she has to support that.
I'm the last person, I'm the last person who carries in
That was a joke.
Oh, okay. That's your government, right?
Nope.
I'm a president in New York.
Oh, okay, okay.
But it's interesting, my whole family is all residents, because,
Oh, okay.
like in my great grandfather's generation, there was some
I'm not
part
ready.
of this
How
guy
far
who
were
was
you guys from
resident.
Tampa?
So the whole
It's
family,
about
like, there was like a
160
family
something.
reunion.
Oh, it is pretty far.
That's called a resident
Far, but
family.
it's not.
So we're the only people who have a
The
name.
holding
It's weird.
company.
Yeah, no, it is weird, I've always, I was,
It's a nice place to travel, like if you went to.
Look how the friend is.
Like two folk figures.
It's not far, yeah, not far.
Right, because Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater.
Source of the name
Yeah, we were
is
told
from
that
W,
the,
was from W or
we were told that the, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, yeah.
the entire history of the Jewish.
Clearwater, I'm sorry, well, that's,
Destroyed, except
Yeah, that's been for a while.
because we'd asked about Clearwater, and that's what they told us.
my grandparents, my grandfather, not like fabulously wealthy, but he was pretty wealthy. And they had this like dance house, this like man's big house, which now sits in the middle of
Yeah.
the park in North Oak and is used as like a community center.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that more.
I would go back
The
there.
old.
I wouldn't know about it.
I
I don't know, it's sort of like, it's weird to me to think.
But Todd,
It's weird to me.
was it Echo?
Echoing, yeah.
Echo, he's in.
Yeah, of course, like, and I'm right, of course, like,
Facebook.
you know, I'm interested to see you be inside of something.
No.
What?
It's like,
It's Jason Watson's, I'm sure, yeah. His child, oh, yeah, he's Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Say hi to everybody. Welcome back.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah. I guess it's been a while. Since I've been in services.
Yeah. I meant to ask you, is it too hot to play, paddle tennis?
It's not, no.
No, you can still do it.
Yeah. I haven't been, I've been busy, but I haven't been, I just haven't been able to get up early anyway.
Gotcha.
But no, yeah, ideal is probably, you don't want to play like 20 degree, 30, 40, 50, those are nice,
Okay.
nice temperature.
Just saying, I want to make sure you maintain your physical
I
fitness.
haven't been,
Bye, guys.
So it sounds like it was exercise for you.
yeah, I think it was really, I think the big thing is when she gets down there, is she gonna wanna, like when she gets down there, is she gonna get lonely? So that's really good, we'll see.